Get ready, because today I'm showing you the top 10 old, dirty Kennedy half dollars that look worthless but can actually be worth hundreds, thousands, and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. These coins hide shocking secrets, rare errors, and huge value. Stay until the end, you might already have one worth a fortune. To understand why the 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar has become so valuable, we need to go back to the history of the Kennedy series. After President John F. Kennedy was tragically assassinated in 1963, the U.S. Mint rushed to honor him by creating the Kennedy half dollar in 1964. The 1964 version was made of 90% silver, and people loved it so much that they hoarded the coin instantly. The U.S. Mint then changed to a 40% silver mix from 1965 to 1970. After 1971, the Mint switched again, this time to a copper-nickel version with no silver. This new metal was cheaper, and the Mint produced millions every year. But something interesting happened. By the time we reached the 1980s, almost nobody used half dollars anymore. Stores rarely gave them out, banks didn't keep many, and people didn't see them in daily life. Because of this, many dates from the 1980s including 1981 became scarce in high grade. They were made, but not used, and many got scratched, dented, or damaged over time. Now let's jump to the year 1981. The Philadelphia Mint, which uses the letter P, produced millions of half dollars. But even though the number sounds big, the number of perfect coins with sharp strikes, clean surfaces, and no marks is extremely small. And this is exactly why collectors now fight to buy the best ones. A normal 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar that you might find in circulation is usually worth face value. But if the coin is in top condition, if it has a super sharp strike, if it has no scratches, and if it is graded very high by PCGS or NGC like MS66 or MS67, the price goes up fast. One MS67 coin sold for more than $4,000. Another high-grade example brought more than $5,000 at auction. And collectors say that if a perfect MS68 example is ever found, it could easily bring $10,000, $15,000, or even more, because none has ever been confirmed at that level. This is why people take this coin so seriously today. But the normal high-grade coins are just the beginning. The real money, the huge money, comes from the rare errors. And the 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar has some unbelievable error types. Some of these errors are so dramatic that collectors spend thousands of dollars instantly, without thinking twice, because they know these coins should not exist. One of the biggest and rarest errors is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not placed properly in the machine, and the design gets printed off to one side. Some off-center strikes show only half of Kennedy's face. Some show the date cut off. Some show blank metal on one side and design on the other. And these coins can bring $1,000, $2,000, even above $5,000 depending on how dramatic the error is. Another massive error type is the wrong planchet strike. This happens when the Mint mixes a blank metal disc meant for another coin. Imagine finding a 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar struck on a quarter planchet or even a foreign planchet. The weight would be wrong, the size would be wrong, the edge might be different. These coins are so rare that when one appears, it can easily sell for $10,000 to $20,000 or more, depending on how strange the mistake is. Collectors love wrong planchet errors more than almost any other type. There is also the double die error. This is when the die, the metal tool used to strike the coin, shifts slightly during the hubbing process. This makes the letters or numbers look doubled. Look closely at In God We Trust, Liberty, the date, or Kennedy's profile. If anything looks doubled, even a little, that can mean huge money. Some double die errors from other years have sold for thousands and thousands of dollars, and a strong double die from 1981 P would be extremely rare, meaning it could bring $3,000, $6,000, or even much more if found in high grade. Another rare mistake comes from die cracks or die breaks. When the die becomes old, it starts cracking. When it strikes the coin, those cracks get printed on the metal. Some cracks are small, but some become dramatic raised lines or even chunks missing from the design. These coins are called cuds when parts of the rim break off. A strong cud or large die crack from this year can easily sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on how dramatic it looks. There are also strike-through errors. This happens when something like grease, cloth, wire, or another object gets between the die and the coin. The coin then comes out with weird flat areas or missing details. Strong strike-through errors often sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars, especially if they affect Kennedy's face or the eagle on the back. The amazing part about the 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar is that many of these rare errors might still be sitting in someone's home right now. Maybe someone saved a roll of half dollars years ago. Maybe someone collected coins as a kid and forgot about them. Maybe a jar of coins in a closet or storage box holds something rare. People have found rare errors in the most surprising places. And that is why this coin is exciting. You can still find it. If you ever get a 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar, look closely. Check the edges. Check the shine. Check the strike. Look for anything unusual. And if the coin looks perfect or has a strange error, you should definitely get it graded by PCGS or NGC. A graded coin sells for much higher, and it protects the coin forever. Many coins that looked normal to the owner turned out to be worth thousands after grading. So remember, the 1981 P. Kennedy half dollar may look like a normal old coin, but it can hide secrets worth hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, or even more if the right error appears. This is why collectors love it. This is why values keep rising. And this is why you should always check your old coins, because one lucky discovery can change everything. If you enjoyed learning about this rare and valuable coin, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and stay with me for more amazing stories of coins that look ordinary but are worth a fortune. Yes, the 1990 D. Kennedy half dollar, a coin that most people think is common, simple, and worth only 50 cents. But what if I told you that some rare versions of this coin can sell for hundreds, thousands, and even hundreds of thousands of dollars? What if the coin hiding inside your drawer or your old box could be worth more than a motorcycle, more than a car, or even more than a house? Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly which rare errors, which special features, and which hidden details can make this 1990 D. Kennedy half dollar unbelievably valuable. Let's begin with a little history. The Kennedy half dollar series started in 1964 after the tragic death of President John F. Kennedy. Americans wanted a way to honor him, so the Mint created this coin with his image. Over the years, it has become a symbol of respect, hope, and American history. By 1990, something interesting had happened. Fewer people were using half dollars in everyday life. Many were saved, stacked, or kept in rolls. Because of this, the 1990 D. Kennedy half dollar secretly became a treasure-hunting coin. Most look normal, but some are extremely rare. Now let's talk about value, and this is where things get exciting. A normal 1990 D. Kennedy half dollar in use condition is worth face value, just 50 cents. But rare coins are not normal coins. The real money comes from errors, high grades, and special minting mistakes that happen during production. One of the most valuable types is the off-center strike error. This happens when the design of the coin lands in the wrong place, leaving part of the coin blank. The more off-center it is, the more valuable it becomes. A small off-center might sell for a few $100s, but a big off-center with the date still visible can reach $2,000, $5,000, or even above $10,000 depending on grade and demand. Another powerful error is the double-struck coin, where the coin is hit twice or more by the minting press. This creates a dramatic, shocking look. Kennedy's face appears twice, or the letters appear doubled. Rare double-struck coins from the 1990 D. Mint have sold for $5,000 plus, $20,000 plus, and in extremely dramatic examples, tens of thousands of dollars. But the highest value errors come from major struck-through errors, where objects like metal shavings, cloth, grease, or even broken machine parts interfere with the strike. These coins look totally different and unique. A dramatic struck-through error on a Kennedy half-dollar can jump into the $50,000 to $100,000 range, and in ultra-rare conditions, collectors have paid over $150,000, especially if the coin is certified by PCGS or NGC in a high grade. Another key thing to look for is the full strike, high-grade 1990 D coin. Most coins from 1990 show scratches, marks, or weak details, because they were made for circulation. But a perfect, flawless coin graded MS67 or MS68 can be incredibly rare. An MS68 can reach thousands of dollars easily. Some collectors would even pay $20,000, $30,000, or more because high-grade modern half-dollars are very hard to find. A theoretically perfect MS70, if ever discovered, could sell for six figures. There is also something called no FG. On the back of the half-dollar, below the eagle, you should see the initials, FG, for designer Frank Gasparo. But some 1990 D coins were minted with these initials missing or extremely weak. A strong, no FG error in a high grade can sell for $5,000 to $15,000, and even more if certified. Even normal coins from 1990 can be valuable if they are in perfect condition. A sharply struck, extremely clean 1990 D Kennedy half-dollar with strong luster can sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars because collectors want perfect coins for their sets. So before you spend that half-dollar or leave it sitting in your coin jar, make sure you check it carefully. Look for off-center strikes, double strikes, missing initials, heavy mint errors, or just beautiful condition. Any one of these things could mean that your coin is worth far more than you ever imagined. Some people have found life-changing money simply by checking their change. And who knows, your 1990 D Kennedy half-dollar might be the next big discovery worth hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin many people ignore or spend without thinking, can hold shocking value if it has the right rare errors or special features. Some versions of this coin have sold for massive prices at auctions, surprising even experts. So stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to show you exactly which 1979 Kennedy half-dollars are the rarest, the most valuable, and the ones collectors are fighting over. Your coin could be the next big jackpot. Let's start with a little history, because the Kennedy half-dollar is more than just a piece of metal. It began in 1964, created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination in 1963. Millions of Americans wanted a coin that kept his memory alive, and the half-dollar quickly became a symbol of respect. But over the years, fewer people used half-dollars in everyday spending, and many were saved, stored, or forgotten. That's why today, finding rare versions is like uncovering hidden treasure. And the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is right in the middle of that treasure hunt. Now, let's get into why the 1979 coin can be worth so much. Most 1979 Kennedy half-dollars are common and worth just 50 cents. But not all of them. Some extremely rare ones were struck with mistakes at the mint, mistakes we call errors. These errors are what make the coin valuable. And the more dramatic the error, the higher the price. One of the biggest things collectors look for is the mint mark, where the coin was made. In 1979, half-dollars were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia version doesn't have a mint mark. The Denver version has a D. And the San Francisco version has an S. All three can have valuable errors, but the rarest ones often come from the San Francisco Mint because proof coins were made there. One of the rarest and most valuable versions is the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar with a struck-through error, where something like cloth, metal, or grease got stuck between the coin and the press. When this happens, the coin gets a strange mark, missing details, or a unique pattern. Some struck-through errors have sold for over $5,000, and in extremely rare cases, the right coin in perfect condition can go even higher. Another important error is the off-center strike, where the design is not correctly placed on the coin. The more off-center it is, the more valuable it becomes. If the off-center strike is big and the coin is still in great condition, collectors have paid $1,000 to $10,000 or more. But the rarest, and most exciting, 1979 Kennedy half dollars are the ones with dramatic double strikes and multiple strikes. These errors occur when the coin is hit more than once by the press, causing duplicated images of Kennedy's face or the lettering. These coins can be worth tens of thousands of dollars depending on the quality. Some extremely rare double-struck coins, especially from the proof sets, can shoot up to $50,000 or even $100,000 if the error is bold and the coin is certified by a major grading service. Another important thing to watch for is the deep cameo proof coin, which has strong contrast between frosted designs and mirror-like backgrounds. Some proof coins with ultra-high grades, like PR70, can reach values from $3,000 to $7,000, depending on demand. And if one of those proof coins also has a rare minting error, the value can explode even higher. We're talking tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars for the right combination. Even coins from regular circulation can be valuable. A high-grade 1979 coin with no errors but in near-perfect condition, graded MS67 or MS68, can still bring in $500 to $2,000, because finding such clean coins from 1979 is very difficult. Most were handled, scratched, or worn down. So if you have a really clean one, don't ignore it, get it checked. So before you spend that old half-dollar or let it sit in a jar, take a closer look. Your 1979 Kennedy half-dollar could be hiding one of the rare errors, one of the special proof features, or one of the high grades that collectors pay huge money for. And remember, even the most normal-looking coin can turn out to be a treasure once it's examined carefully. Many people have found rare coins simply by checking their change, and you could be next. This is a coin that millions of people ignore, millions of people spend, and millions of people have lying around. But very, very few people know the truth. Some rare versions of this simple 50-cent coin have sold for hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and in extremely rare cases, collectors say the right error in the right grade could shoot up to tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, a small, common-looking half-dollar from 1983 could turn into life-changing money. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, which rare errors bring the biggest value, and how your ordinary coin could be the next big jackpot. Let's start with the history. The Kennedy half-dollar was first made in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. Americans loved the design, and the coin became a major part of U.S. history. Fast forward to 1983, and something interesting happened. The Mint did not produce mint sets in 1982 or 1983, so most of the coins from those years went straight into circulation. That means the 1983 half-dollar is harder to find in perfect condition. Most were used, damaged, scratched, or worn. Because of this, high-grade coins, especially MS66, MS67, or higher, are extremely rare and very valuable. Now let's talk about the huge value, and this is where things get exciting. A normal, circulated 1983 half-dollar might be worth only 50 cents. But rare versions? Those can bring serious money. One of the biggest reasons these coins are valuable is errors, mistakes made at the mint. And some of these mistakes are dramatic. One of the most valuable types is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not lined up correctly during minting, so part of the design is missing. The more off-center it is, the more money it can bring. A small off-center might be worth a few $100s, but a dramatic off-center with the date visible can reach $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, or more, depending on condition. Another powerful error is the double strike, where the coin is hit twice or even more times. This creates doubled images of Kennedy's face, or doubled numbers, or strange stretched letters. These coins can be worth $5,000, $20,000, or even over $50,000 for rare examples certified by PCGS or NGC. We also have struck-through errors, which happen when something gets between the metal and the press, things like cloth, grease, wires, or even pieces of machinery. These errors create strange shapes, missing areas, or weird textures on the coin. Dramatic struck-through errors can reach $10,000 to $30,000, and truly extreme ones, in perfect condition, can hit six figures, yes, $100,000 plus. But one of the most famous rare features of the 1983 Kennedy half dollar is the missing initials on the reverse, the no FG error. On the back of the coin, under the eagle's leg, you should see the letters FG, which stand for designer Frank Gasparo. But some 1983 half dollars were made with either very faint initials or no initials at all. These no FG coins in high grade are extremely rare and can sell anywhere from $500 to $3,000, with some premium examples selling much higher. A perfect, high-grade no FG coin could be worth $10,000 or $20,000, and maybe more. Now let's talk about high grades from normal strikes. Because there were no mint sets in 1983, finding a clean, flawless 1983 half dollar is extremely difficult. Most are worn, scratched, or damaged. So when a coin grader finds a 1983 half dollar graded MS67 or MS68, it becomes super valuable. An MS67 can sell for hundreds or thousands. An MS68, which is unbelievably rare, can hit five figures easily. And if one day a perfect MS69 or MS70 is found, collectors believe it could reach $50,000 to $100,000 or even more, because the demand for perfect 1980s half dollars is huge. Everything we've talked about, off-center errors, double strikes, struck-through mistakes, missing initials, and ultra-high grades can turn a simple 50-cent coin into a massive treasure. That's why you should check every 1983 Kennedy half dollar you find. The one sitting in your drawer or your coin jar could be worth far more than you think. This is a coin that millions of people have in old drawers, coin jars, and dusty boxes, but only a few lucky people discover the truth. Some rare 1971 D coins have sold for hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and in extremely rare cases, collectors say the right error could shoot into the tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, a simple half dollar from 1971 could change your life. So stay with me until the end, because you do not want to miss the rare features, amazing errors, and massive values that your coin might have. Your 1971 D half dollar could be a hidden treasure. Let's begin with a little history. The Kennedy half dollar series began in 1964, created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic death. By 1971, a big change happened. The U.S. Mint stopped using silver in these coins and switched to a copper, nickel-clad composition. So the 1971 D Kennedy half dollar became the first year of the modern, non-silver design. Because of this, collectors pay special attention to this year. A huge number of coins were made for circulation, so most of them look ordinary. But hidden among them are extremely rare errors worth big money. Now let's talk about the exciting part, value. A regular 1971 D half dollar is worth around 50 cents to $1. But rare versions? That's where the magic begins. One of the most valuable types is the silver transitional error. In 1971, the mint switched from silver to clad coins. But a few leftover silver planchets from earlier years were accidentally used. These rare 1971 D half dollars struck on a silver planchet can be worth $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and depending on grade, even $50,000 or more. Some experts say a perfect, certified example could reach six-figure value, yes, over $100,000. Another major error comes from the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not placed correctly in the machine, so the design lands off-center. A small off-center might be worth a couple $100s, but a dramatic off-center with the date showing can bring $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, or even more depending on how big the shift is. Next, we have the exciting double-struck errors. These happen when the coin gets hit by the machine twice or more. If the second strike lands in a different position, the coin shows two faces, doubled letters, or a twisted design. These dramatic errors can sell for $5,000, $20,000, or in super rare cases, $50,000 plus. Another extremely valuable mistake is the struck-through error, where an object like cloth, grease, a piece of metal, or a broken machine part gets stuck between the die and the planchet. This creates a strange pattern or missing area on the coin. A strong, dramatic struck-through on a 1971 D half dollar can easily reach $5,000 to $25,000, and rare premium examples may go even higher. But one of the most famous and sought-after features in this coin is the missing initials on the reverse, that no FG error. On the back of the coin, under the eagle, you should see the initials, FG, for designer Frank Gasparo. But some 1971 D coins were made with very weak or completely missing initials. A strong no FG error in high grade can bring $1,000, $3,000, and sometimes even $10,000 or more if certified. Now let's talk about high grades. Because the 1971 D was made for circulation, most coins became scratched, worn, or damaged. Finding a perfect coin is extremely rare. A 1971 D half dollar graded MS-66 or MS-67 is already valuable. These can sell for hundreds to thousands. But MS-68? That is almost impossible to find. If a true MS-68 or MS-69 exists, it could easily reach $20,000 to $50,000, and if a perfect MS-70 ever appears, collectors believe it could reach six figures. This is why you should carefully check any 1971 D Kennedy half dollar you find. Look for off-center mistakes, double strikes, strange marks, missing initials, or super clean condition. Even one small detail could mean the difference between a normal half dollar and a massive jackpot worth tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars.